zero-tolerance policy against extremists threatening peace and security. Net disposable income to guide government's poverty assistance targeting. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight and I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos. Now there will be zero tolerance for issues involving destructive elements and extremists that threatened the peace and security of the nation. Now the Prime Minister, Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, emphasized the need to address these elements proactively, preventing their spread within the community.
Saya tidak apologetic. Saya tidak minta maaf kepada mereka, mengatakan bahawa sementara saya pertahankan hak dan kebebasan, saya tidak akan tolak ansur sama sekali terhadap elemen yang dianggap perusak, pelampau yang memusnahkan. Dan saya tetap, seperti mana telah saya tegaskan dalam keputusan Jamaah Menteri, akan mendukung dan mempertahankan dengan tegas, dengan sesungguhnya penguatkuasaan dalam negeri, tentunya PDRM dan agensi-agensi penguatkuasaan lain supaya menjaga dan mengawal. Kerana yang paling utama di negara kita ini ialah keamanan dan keselamatan dan bukan imej Perdana Menteri di luar negara.
He underscored that while development and economic initiatives are crucial, the security and safety of the country must also remain a top priority. The Prime Minister said this when launching the Malaysian Action Plan on Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, or MyPCVE, today. Well, on another note, Dato' Sri Anwar stressed there is a need to improve national security-related legislations to ensure the country's security is more robust from outside elements and influences. Well, he said the enforcement of such laws would prevent the spread of terrorism.
Saya serah kepada kebijaksanaan PDRM dan Angkatan Tentera serta daripada penguasa-kuasa yang lain. Sekiranya ada elemen-elemen yang harus dimasukkan yang belum cukup kuat dalam undang-undang.
The Prime Minister added such laws would likely face opposition from some parties, but assured that the government would stand firm.
Kita akan pertahankan sebab betapapun kita mahu negara ini lebih matang sebagai satu demokrasi, satu hal yang tidak boleh kita terima adalah mengizinkan negara menjadi medan dan gelanggang bagi puak yang melampau.
Well, Foreign Minister Dato' Sri Muhammad Hassan's statement at the 79th United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in New York, reflects Malaysia's firmness and consistency on various universal issues, including justice for Palestine. While Home Minister Dato' Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said such statements are crucial for seizing the opportunity to express Malaysia's views and stance on the international stage regarding various emerging issues that require attention. Well, he stated that Dato' Sri Muhammad's statement encapsulates the government's position and the country's stance. Well, the minister added that although international issues are dynamic, the key point is the nation's steadfastness and consistency in utilizing the UN forum to express its views. Well, at the UN General Assembly, the UNGA, Malaysia expressed a firm stance on issues such as veto power, Islamophobia, and Palestine. Malaysia also made a strong appeal for the full implementation of Resolution ES 10/24, urging the UN Security Council, or UNSC, to act decisively to stop Israel's illegal occupation of the occupied Palestinian territory, or OPT, for the sake of justice for the Palestinian people. On another note, Dato' Sri Saifuddin said the Home Ministry is optimistic that the Royal Malaysia Police, or PDRM, would take all aspects into account and conduct an investigation in accordance with 4 laws, namely the Child Act 2001, the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017, the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, known as ATIPSOM, Act 2007, and the Penal Code.
Setakat ini kita dah buka 80 kertas siasatan membabitkan 4 akta. 1 akta kanak-kanak 2001. 2 akta kesalahan-kesalahan seksual terhadap kanak-kanak 2017. Yang 3 adalah akta anti pemerdagangan orang dan anti penyeludupan migran 2007, singkatannya ATIPSOM. Dan yang keempat tentunya kanun kesesaan atau penal code. Jadi daripada 80 kertas siasatan yang dibuka, polis dan semua agensi tentunya mengambil masa untuk melengkap dan menyempurnakannya sebelum diserahkan kepada AGC. Sama ada pendakwaan ataupun tidak, itu jurisdiction di peringkat AGC, ya.
Since the first phase of OP Global began in early September, more than 300 people, including GISBH's senior management, have been arrested, 572 victims have been rescued, and 8 individuals have been brought to court, facing a total of 33 charges. Dato' Sri Saifuddin said the investigation and enforcement action in this case were conducted not only by the PDRM, but also involved various agencies with the participation of 1,226 officers and members. The distribution of initial aid from the Rice Crop Disaster Fund, or TBTP, to rice farmers affected by recent floods will be expedited. Well, Agriculture and Food Security Minister Dato' Sri Mohamad Sabu, he announced the aid amounts will range from 876 ringgit to 1,800 ringgit per hectare, with a maximum support for 3 hectares.
Mereka menuai padi di awal bulan 9 hingga pertengahan bulan 9 sebab dijangka banjir akan berlaku di sekitar bulan 10. Tahun ini banjir diawalkan, jadi menyebabkan padi sedang masak tenggelam. Dan ini tak boleh salahkan mereka lah. Ini satu malapetaka yang kementerian dan kerajaan akan cuba memberi bantuan sekadar yang mampu dibuat oleh kerajaan.
Dato' Sri Mohamad Sabu said that the ministry's disaster operations rooms at both the district and state levels are monitoring weather conditions, issuing early warnings to target groups, and implementing mitigation plans to minimize losses in the country's agro-food sector. While floods have impacted several states, affecting 6,000 hectares of rice plantations, with initial losses estimated at around 32 million ringgit. Well, the Ministry of Higher Education, or MOHE, has outlined its key priorities for Budget 2025 with a strong focus on the development of university infrastructure and the internationalization of academic programs. Higher Education Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir noted that the budget will also address the integration of artificial intelligence, or AI technology, into both universities and polytechnics, aligning with the rapid technological advancements seen globally.
Kita mengharapkan bajet yang berkaitan dengan soal penambahbaikan dari segi kemudahan-kemudahan universiti yang juga baik pulih universiti dan juga politeknik serta institusi yang berkaitan dengannya, iaitu peralatan-peralatan usang yang perlu kita gantikan. Dan dalam masa yang sama juga kita mengharapkan supaya program pengantarabangsaaan pendidikan tinggi kita dapat dilaksanakan dengan sebaiknya.
Speaking at the MOHE Monthly Assembly today, Dato' Sri Dr. Zamri also urged universities to remain attentive to the needs of students from the B40 income group, ensuring that necessary aid reaches those who need it most. Well, the 2025 budget prioritizes essential needs by eliminating unnecessary expenditures. The Minister in Prime Minister's Department for Federal Territory, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa, she stated that they have submitted proposals to the Ministry of Finance with finalization expected in October.
Saya diberitahu akan dikurangkan bajet untuk memberikan penjimatan kepada perbelanjaan keseluruhannya. Tapi apapun, kita telah memberikan senarai prioriti kita, keutamaan kita, dan setakat yang kita bentangkan kepada MOF, mereka menerima baik cadangan-cadangan kita, dan harapnya lah insya-Allah pada Oktober ini kita mendapat bajet yang kita rasa boleh kita laksanakan apa-apa saja program yang telah kita rancangkan untuk tahun 2025.
She acknowledged that the Prime Minister's department had been informed of a reduction in its allocation aimed at cost savings, but emphasized that key socio-economic development programs would not be compromised. Dr. SAHIH Mustafa told reporters after officiating the closing ceremony of Labuan's annual Borneo Arts Festival at the Financial Park Convention Hall on Sunday night. Coming up, government intensifies fight against extreme poverty with economic growth. Well, the 2025 budget will prioritize support for the underprivileged while eliminating subsidies for the wealthy and elite, particularly in the education sector. The Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, emphasized that this approach aims to ensure a more equitable distribution of resources, targeting those who truly need assistance and preventing the misuse of subsidies that benefit the affluent.
Sekadar yang saya dapat faham, majoriti memberi manfaat kepada golongan yang elit. Orang-orang kanan pejabat awam, pimpinan politik, pengusaha-pengusaha terkenal, itu semua dihantar sekolah-sekolah terbaik yang dibiaya oleh kerajaan dengan kadar yang tinggi, yang sebenarnya meletakkan kita dalam keadaan paling tidak munasabah, tidak adil. Sepatutnya kalau anak orang kaya itu dihantar ke fakulti kejuruteraan, yang Melayu atau Cina atau Iban, kalau dia bayarlah. Jadi dengan cara itu kita boleh menampung kekurangan. Kalau tidak, subsidi ini berterusan.
The Prime Minister also said it is important to ensure that subsidies are given to the poor so that they can improve their lives. And he said this when he opened the National Symposium, Eradicating Poverty Today, which was also attended by Economy Minister Rasmi. On another development of the story, net disposable income, or NDI, will now be used as the basis to identify target groups for assistance in the government's efforts to eliminate poverty. The Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, stressed the government's plan to shift to the NDI measurement will reduce errors in identifying beneficiaries and is more equitable.
Walaupun dia umpamanya layak.
Well, the Prime Minister said this is the basis for identifying the target group for assistance. Additionally, it will take into account basic living expenses, or PAKW, which encompass the necessary essential costs. Now, this includes expenditures on food, clothing, shelter, utilities, and transportation, all of which vary based on location and household demographics. Well, Economy Minister Rasmi said the government is committed to intensifying efforts to eradicate hardcore poverty in line with the nation's healthy economic performance. Well, he said that the government will ensure, or would ensure, no one is left behind in accordance with the Madani Economy Framework.
Pertumbuhan ekonomi yang positif, inflasi yang stabil, pasaran saham yang terbaik di rantau ini dan mata wang ringgit yang semakin mengukuh menunjukkan kita berada di landasan yang tepat dalam mengendalikan ekonomi negara. Namun, seperti yang saya ulang tadi, itu juga menjadi ingatan kepada kita, terutamanya pembuat-pembuat dasar di dalam kerajaan.
Speaking at the National Symposium, Eradicating Poverty, event today, the minister said the symposium emphasized the 6 Madani core values in ending poverty, together, which refers to the nation's comprehensive approach to advancing various aspects, empowered, which highlights individuals' ability to achieve their goals, and sustainable, which pertains to the implementation of continuous efforts and achievements. Well, he said this effort is hoped to be a starting point for more sustainable initiatives, ensuring that all Malaysians, especially the poor and vulnerable, benefit and escape the grips of poverty. Well, the government is committed to raising the bar for governance standards, with the National Audit Department embarking on transformative projects that underscore the importance of digitalization, risk-based auditing and collaborative governance. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hui Ying said the implementation of cutting-edge audit analytics and dashboards ensures that the country is proactive and not merely reactive in identifying risks and ensuring that every ringgit of taxpayer money is accounted for.
A pivotal step in this transformation is the recent amendment of the Audit Act 1957, which enhances the Auditor General's oversight powers. This historic move allows for greater scrutiny of public spending, strengthening public trust in governance institutions.
Lim said the future of governance lies in collaboration between government bodies, private organizations and audit professionals. Hence, she said they need to work together to build a governance model that is adaptable, accountable and prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. She commended the Institute of Internal Auditors Malaysia, IIA Malaysia, for being at the forefront of promoting effective governance, risk management and controls, either from the assurance or an advisory lens. Well, adding to that, the National Audit Department, or NAD, will be auditing 2,000 government-linked companies, or GLCs, beginning next year in an effort to create a new era of enhanced governance in Malaysia. So this initiative follows the recent approval of the Audit Act 1957 Amendment Bill in July 2024, which significantly strengthens the Auditor General's powers. Auditor General Datuk Wan Suraya Wan Muhammad Razzi said this will also enable a more comprehensive oversight of public spending in Malaysia.
Dapatkan audit negara will be fully digitalized next year in terms of the way we conduct our audits, data analytics, and we have to do this not only because it's the trend now, is to keep abreast of technology, but because we have a bigger, wider pool of auditees to be audited beginning next year. And this is because of the new amended act, as well as the demands given to us by the cabinet.
She added that the auditors will also ensure that the data collection will be done within the parameters of the new technology while maintaining confidentiality. Datuk Wan Suraya said during a fireside chat session at the Institute of Internal Auditors Malaysia National Conference 2024. Well, Human Resources Minister Stephen Sim has emphasized the need to have a well-defined plan for the future of artificial intelligence, or AI, and its potential effects on the job market. In response to this, the ministry has commissioned a report that will delve into the implications of AI on the Malaysian workforce. The report will focus on 10 strategic economic sectors, and it is scheduled to be released in October.
These 10 sectors together will cover about almost 5 million jobs, constituting 60 to 70% of our GDP. The report will tell us what is going to happen to our jobs in these sectors in the next 3 to 5 years. It will not only help players in these sectors to plan ahead, it also allows workers currently in these roles or in roles which will be impacted within the next few years to be alerted and therefore take action to pivot to different roles.
The sectors in focus are namely ICT, food manufacturing and services, pharmaceutical manufacturing, aerospace, electrical and electronics, wholesale trade and retail, chemicals, medical devices, energy and power, as well as global business services. He said this in the opening remarks of the National Human Capital Conference and Exhibition 2024 in Kuala Lumpur. Well, the National Resources and Environmental Sustainability Ministries, or NRES, today launched the National Climate Change Policy, or NCCP 2.0, which is an updated policy that introduces a new framework for Malaysia's transition towards a low-carbon economy. Minister Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad said the policy reaffirms the country's commitment to achieving its climate pledges, including reaching net zero greenhouse gas or GHG emissions by 2050.
Matlamat utama dasar ini adalah untuk negara menuju ke satu peralihan ekonomi rendah karbon dan pembangunan berdaya tahan iklim. Dan ia juga bagi kita memenuhi apa yang komitmen kita telah buat dalam perjanjian Paris 2015. Kalau di PIN 1.0 dia lebih pada untuk arus perdanakan isu-isu perubahan iklim, tetapi di PIN 2.0 ini lebih kepada praktikal dan pelaksanaan dengan selaras dengan perjanjian yang terbaru dan juga maklumat dan yang kita adalah yang terkini.
He said NCCP 2.0 is an umbrella policy that ties together all climate initiatives, provides a clear pathway for governance, low-carbon development, adaptation, climate financing and partnerships, as well as serves as the backbone for the drafting of Malaysia's very own Climate Change Act, which is expected to be completed early next year. Malaysia will study the use of different spectrums and frequencies as used in South Korea to overcome the problem of internet in building coverage. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil said the effectiveness of the method has been proven in South Korea, which also faced the same problem before.
Masalah yang sama juga dihadapi di Korea Selatan dan mereka ada memaklumkan satu penyelesaian yang melibatkan satu frekuensi, satu spektrum. Ya. Jadi saya telah minta pihak MCMC untuk meneliti dapatan pandangan daripada pihak LGU Plus. Sekiranya ia sesuai dan boleh dimanfaatkan di Malaysia, maka kita akan usahakan POC bagi beberapa penyelesaian.
Earlier, Fahmi held a meeting with LGU Plus Executive Vice President Johan Soo Hyun Chung and senior officials of the telecommunications company and attended a briefing on the status of 5G network coverage in South Korea. LGU Plus is a leading South Korean telecommunications company recognized for cutting-edge 5G, broadband and IoT. Fahmi is currently on a 3-day working visit to South Korea. Well, 2 new clusters introduced by the Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, MARDI, during the Malaysia Agricultural, Horticultural and Agro-Tourism Exhibition, better known as MAHA 2024, achieved a profit target of 400,000 ringgit. And commenting further through a statement release, well, MARDI mentioned that the 2 clusters are kids attraction and motorhome glamping with an average of 100,000 visitors over the 12-day event. Well, according to MARDI's Director General, Dato' Muhammad Zabawi Abdul Ghani, these 2 clusters represent new additions in MARDI's segments. He also said all segments coordinated by MARDI emphasize interaction with visitors to explore innovations and technology in agriculture. Additionally, they aim to raise public awareness about agricultural technology to ensure food security and strengthen the national food security in line with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security's mission. Amanah Saham Nasional Berhad, or ASNB, has declared a total income distribution of 837.89 million ringgit for Amanah Saham Malaysia Tiga or ASM Tiga, benefiting 650,487 unit holders who currently own 17.64 billion units for the financial year ended 30th September 2024, or better known as FY 2024. Now, the wholly owned unit trust management company of Permodalan Nasional Berhad or PNB said in a statement today that the income distribution of 4.75 cent per unit outperformed its benchmark Maybank 12-month fixed deposit return of 2.69% by 206 basis points for the financial year up to the 24th September this year. Now, it said the income for ASM Tiga is derived from realized gains, dividends and other sources of income from both domestic and international investments. It said the computation of the income distribution for ASM Tiga is based on the average minimum monthly balance held throughout the fund's financial year. The distribution declared by ASM Tiga will be automatically reinvested as additional units into unit holders' accounts on 1st October this year, while transactions for ASM Tiga at ASNB branches and agents, including all online channels and internet banking, have been temporarily suspended from 28th to 30th September this year. Unit holders may resume transactions at My ASNB portal or via My ASNB mobile application or at any ASNB branch or its agents nationwide starting 1st October this year. Well, Bank Negara Malaysia BNM is likely to maintain the overnight policy rate or OPR at 3% until the year 2026. And according to BMI research, cooling inflation and robust growth outlook suggest that the central bank can afford to leave the OPR at its current level for a longer period. Elaborating further in a research note released today, the firm also mentioned further implementation of subsidy rationalization plans could push up domestic prices and prompt policymakers to embark on the easing cycle. Now, BMI also said narrowing interest rate differentials between the US and Malaysia will continue to act as a tailwind for the Malaysian ringgit, which is the best performing emerging market currency in the region. BNM's confidence in the economy remains intact, citing that exports are expected to be further lifted by the global tech upcycle. Exports emerge as one of the key growth drivers in the second quarter of 2024. Now, this has prompted the firm to revise their growth forecast from 4.4% to 4.7% for 2024. And now, as end August 2024, Bank Negara Malaysia BNM reported official reserve assets of $116.77 billion and other foreign currency assets totaling 88.9 million ringgit. So BNM outlined that over the next 12 months, predetermined short-term outflows related to foreign currency loans, securities and deposits, including scheduled government repayments and maturity of foreign currency interbank bills, are projected at $16.44 billion. Now, following practices since April 2006, BNM clarified that this data excludes anticipated foreign currency inflows from interest income and project loan drawdowns, which are expected to total $2.58 billion within the year. Now, BNM confirmed there are no foreign currency loans with embedded options, nor any undrawn credit lines with other central banks or financial entities, and it does not engage in foreign currency options against the ringgit. Well, oil prices climbed for the second day today due to rising concerns about supply disruptions in West Asia amid Israel's increased attacks on Hamas and Iranian forces. Now, Brent crude futures for November rose 1.56% a barrel, while December's contract increased by 1.45%. U.S. West Texas Intermediate or WTI crude futures meanwhile gained 1.36 a barrel. Despite this rise, Brent dropped about 3% and WTI 5% last week over demand concerns in China despite fiscal stimulus efforts. Well, that concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, zero tolerance policy against extremists threatening peace and security. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Amin Carlos. Thanks for watching.